right, everybody, welcome back. We're diving deep today
Yeah.
into something I think really, really fascinating.
Yeah.
It's Eva Longoria's decision to move her family out of the U.S.
Interesting.
Yeah, and we've got like two really good pieces to look at here. We've got her interview with Marie Claire.
Oh, yeah.
So we get like straight from the source, her thoughts.
Yep.
And then we've got this piece from The Independent.
Yeah.
That kind of looks at some of the global stuff.
Right. It's a
So,
global context.
yeah, so it should be a really, really fascinating look, I think.
I'm excited.
So, let's just jump right in, I guess.
Yeah, let's do it.
So, she's splitting her time now between Spain and Mexico City.
Okay.
And it's kind of interesting because she says she still loves L.A.,
Right.
but she's, she kind of paints a picture of what it's become, particularly, kind of post-COVID.
Right.
And, kind of talks about the homelessness and cost of living. And,
Yeah.
and just like the whole vibe is shifted. And she even used the word dystopian, which I thought was really interesting.
Wow. Yeah, dystopian. That's
Like pretty strong.
It's a strong word for sure. And I think it really speaks to kind of a disillusionment with what we consider the American dream.
Right.
And how that doesn't really match up with reality anymore.
Totally. And what's really interesting is she connects that feeling to concerns about the future of democracy.
Oh, absolutely.
And she's, she even specifically talks about the election results.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And how she feels about that.
Yeah.
I mean, she was a big supporter of Kamala Harris.
Yes.
And, she doesn't seem surprised that Trump won again.
Right.
But she does have this, concern about what it all means.
Yeah. That makes sense. I mean, I think a lot of people...
Totally. And it's not even just about her own concerns.
Right.
She's even, worried for people who can't just leave.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That's a really...
It's like she did.
Crucial point. She's acknowledging her own privilege.
Right. And expressing this, worry for people who are stuck in a system that they find troubling.
Yeah.
This idea of feeling trapped by political or social circumstances. I mean, a few years ago, I remember feeling similarly when, X briefly shares an anecdote about political disillusionment in their own country. Keep it concise and related to Longoria's feelings.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's really something.
Yeah.
And I think it adds such a layer to what she's going through.
Absolutely.
And, speaking of layers, we've got this independent piece that brings in this whole global perspective, which I think is really cool.
I was going to say, the global dimension of this is, it's fascinating.
They're talking about how her story is part of this bigger trend, of people looking for places that align with their values.
Yeah.
Especially as all this stuff about pluralism and internationalism,
Oh, yeah, those anxieties are on the rise.
Yeah, exactly. And they were saying globally, right? Across the board, we're seeing these threats to democratic values and institutions. Yeah. And a lot of it is fueled by nationalism and populism.
And they were talking about some really specific stuff.
For instance, gives specific examples of threats to pluralism and internationalism from the Independent article.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's just crazy to think about.
It is. It's a lot.
All that happening. Yeah.
But I think it highlights how even though her reasons for leaving are personal, they do echo this larger pattern of people rethinking their whole relationship with their home countries.
And it's not even just her.
No, exactly.
They even mentioned Jamie Lee Curtis.
Oh, really?
She's saying similar things, talking about the erosion of rights, especially for marginalized groups. And she's calling on people to resist what she calls tyranny.
Wow. I know.
That's pretty powerful. It's really powerful. And it made me think about the whole history of celebrity activism.
Yeah. Throughout history, we've seen people in the public eye using their platform to bring attention to
these issues.
Yeah, social and political issues, and often at risk to themselves.
Totally. And I think it's so interesting.
It is.
That Longoria and Jamie Lee Curtis are adding their voices to this too.
It's part of that tradition of artists and entertainers engaging in these political conversations.
That's a really, really fascinating point.
Yeah.
So, what does this all mean?
Right, where do we go from here?
Yeah, is this...
What does it mean for us?
A sign of more and more political emigration.
Especially among those who can afford to go.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And then how do we balance our own personal choices with a sense of responsibility?
especially in a world where these anxieties about freedom and democracy are like...
They're everywhere.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
And what does this all say about, like, the power of celebrities?
Right. Do they have influence?
Do they?
Can they really shape these conversations?
Yeah.
Wow, it's a lot to think about.
It really is.
I think what strikes me is that this isn't just about one celebrity's choice. It's like a lens through which we can see these bigger challenges.
So freedom and democracy.
Yeah, facing democratic societies.
It's really, really fascinating.
It is.
This has been such a great deep dive.
It has.
I think we've all got a lot to think about.
Definitely.
So yeah, keep exploring these issues.
Yeah, the conversation's not over.
And thanks for joining us.
Absolutely.
Until next time.
See ya. Bye. Bye.